Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Jennifer Lindgren. The FDA is recalling fresh-cut produce distributed in New York, including products at Wegmans and Tops Market. This comes after listeria was found on products' containers. Fresh fruits and vegetables in clear plastic containers and ready-to-eat dips in clear clamshell containers are subject to the recall. More information about the recall can be found on the FDA's website. President Biden holding talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The war in Ukraine, a central topic of their conversation. As Madeline Rivera tells us, in recent days, there's been growing concern about China helping Russia militarily.
The humanitarian crisis in Ukraine's port city of Mariupol is deteriorating by the day. Thousands of residents remain trapped as food, water, and vital medical supplies run dangerously low in the besieged city. Moscow demanded Ukraine surrender the city. In exchange, Russia would allow residents to leave. Ukrainian officials rejected the ultimatum.
For 3 weeks, 400,000 citizens have been surrounded without food, water, light, heat.
Meanwhile, attacks continue to intensify in the capital city of Kyiv. Russian forces shelled a shopping mall in the northern part of the city over the weekend, killing at least 8 people. Dramatic video showed the building reduced to rubble as emergency crews assessed the damage. The Kremlin claimed the mall was being used by Ukraine to store rockets and other weapons. This all comes as President Biden preps for his highly anticipated trip to Europe later this week. During this trip, he's expected to finalize a package that would further punish Russia for the invasion.
The number one thing that Biden should focus on when he's in Brussels is an open, public declaration of the scale of military reaction that will occur if Putin uses either a chemical or a nuclear weapon.
President Biden first travels to Brussels to participate in an emergency summit. Then he heads to Poland to see the humanitarian crisis firsthand.
A candlelight prayer vigil will be held in Elmira Heights in support of Ukraine. The event is scheduled for Saturday at the McCann's Memorial Park. Local community leaders are set to appear as keynote speakers, including Mayor Margaret Smith. Donations will be accepted and given to the Red Cross for the Ukrainian people. The vigil is set to start at 6:30. Amelia, the young Ukrainian refugee who went viral for singing the Frozen theme song in a Kyiv bunker, is using her voice again. This time, she sang the Ukrainian national anthem during a charity concert in Poland. The money raised will go to a humanitarian effort to help victims of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Since the war began, over 3.3 million people have fled the country, according to the United Nations Refugee Agency. Most people are escaping to the neighboring countries of Poland, Romania, and Moldova. The Supreme Court confirmation hearing for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson has started. Caroline Shively tells us on Monday, senators made their opening statements along with Judge Jackson.
With a split Senate, Judge Jackson could be confirmed with just Democrats, but the White House is hoping for support from both sides of the aisle.
Welcome, Judge Jackson.
Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's historic nomination to the Supreme Court began today, the first of 4 days of hearings. Judge Jackson delivered her opening statement to members of the Senate Judiciary Committee.
If I am confirmed, I commit to you that I will work productively to support and defend the Constitution.
She's the first Black woman ever nominated to the High Court and currently serves on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit.
With your presence here today, you are writing a new page in the history of America.
Jackson received bipartisan support during her previous confirmation last spring. If confirmed, she'll fill the seat of Justice Stephen Breyer, who announced his retirement earlier this year.
I know that I could never fill his shoes, but if confirmed, I would hope to carry on his spirit.
Most Republicans have refrained from attacking Jackson, but in recent days, some GOP lawmakers have begun digging into her record and have tried to portray her as soft on crime.
We will conduct a thorough, exhaustive examination of Judge Jackson's record and views. We won't try to turn this into a spectacle
We'll hear what Judge Jackson has to say about that when she answers questions tomorrow. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
A boater who shot and killed a man he helped rescue will not be charged. The shooting happened March 15th on Lake Keowee in the northwest corner of South Carolina. The boater and his wife rescued a man and woman who were in distress on a jet ski. The male rescuee, 29-year-old Nathan Drew Morgan, then began attacking the couple. The female rescuee pushed Morgan into the water. Morgan got back on the boat and, after a further incident, was shot and killed by the boater. 10th Circuit Solicitor David Wagner looked at the case, determined the shooting was in self-defense, and said the boater would not be charged. 2 Pennsylvania state troopers and 1 civilian are dead following a crash along I-95 in Philadelphia. It happened just before 1 Monday morning. Officials say the 2 troopers, 33-year-old Martin F. Mack III and 29-year-old Brandon T. Siska, responded to calls of an unidentified man walking on the highway. The troopers were trying to walk the man back to their vehicle when all 3 were struck by another speeding car on the southbound lanes of the highway near the Broad Street exit. The crash is under investigation. I-95 was closed for several hours in both directions, reopening to traffic Monday morning. Search and rescue operations are underway after a Chinese Eastern Airlines plane carrying 132 people crashed. The Civil Aviation Administration of China confirmed Monday the crash occurred in the mountains of southwest China's Guangxi-Zhuang Autonomous Region. The total number of casualties is still not known. Authorities say 123 passengers and 9 crew members were on board. The Boeing 737 aircraft took off from Kunming and was headed to Guangzhou. At this stage, the cause of the crash remains undetermined. Your complete workweek forecast is coming up right after this break.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
All right, thanks again for checking in as we take a look at your local forecast and the view from the Binghamton National Weather Service earlier today, showing a few clouds rolling overhead, but overall a pretty decent day for us. You can see those clouds sliding in through the afternoon. But as we take a look at the radar and satellite picture from earlier, noticing this band of precipitation to the north and west of us, that is our rain and snow chance. It will continue tonight, and there will be just a very minor accumulation of precipitation in terms of liquid. There could be a little light coating of snow here and there, but not expecting much. 30 degrees when we head out the door on Tuesday. That'll be 5 degrees above the average. 7:06 is our sunrise, and then a daytime high of 50, a little bit above the average as well, with 7:21 being our sunset. So a little light rain, snow tonight. Shouldn't be anything major. The sun does pop back out Tuesday, and it'll feel pretty nice with milder temperatures. Now, the second half of the week will be pretty wet. We could even have some thunderstorms on Wednesday, and the weekend is looking a little bit cooler with some rain and snow chances returning. So over the next 3 to 5 days, we will be unsettled. So here's that little band of precipitation again sliding through the Elmira Corning area. Again, at points, there could be a little light rain mixing in with a few wet snowflakes. Not expecting much. And then heading into our Tuesday night and Wednesday, the main storm system moves in from the south and west. So it is Wednesday that we have, again, maybe a little bit of a wintry mix, at least initially, before that entire system slides on into the region. We're going to see temperatures warm and even some thunderstorms. So really what we see tonight, total precipitation amounts here could be very minor, and then we'll see the additional shower and thunderstorm chance moving in later in the day Wednesday. So 30 degrees. Again, a few light rain or snow showers, nothing major. Winds will be out of the northwest at around 5 to 10 miles per hour, and a few upper 20s for low temperatures as you head west to Wayland and Bath, and Binghamton could be at 29 degrees as well. Temperatures will be warming fairly quickly to around 50 degrees as we head into the afternoon. Again, a little bit on the cooler side in the morning, but not too bad. Nice to see some sunshine, of course. After a little light rain snow chance tonight. Daytime highs on our Tuesday will be pretty close to where we should be for this time of the year, if not slightly above that. Elmira and Corning into the lower 50s. We should be around 47. Binghamton will be at 48. Again, Wednesday, that precipitation begins to slide in from the south and west initially. It could be a little bit of a wintry mix in a few of the prone locations, but then it will be wet. Wednesday night into Thursday, showers and thunderstorms rolling through and then drying out a little bit here by Friday and Saturday. But at that point, we may still see some light rain and snow chances continuing. We'll, of course, keep you up to date. Have a good one.
The Biden administration opens a window on student loan forgiveness, and there are catches to qualify. The administration is offering up to $6.2 billion to help 100,000 people get college loan debt relief. But there are qualifiers to get it. Under the Limited Public Service Loan Forgiveness Waiver Program, borrowers can eliminate amounts after 120 qualifying payments of working in public service over 10 years. And some may have to consolidate non-direct loans into direct loans. Qualifying loan holders have until October 31st to apply. A survey shows why Uber drivers are quitting. Workers at Facebook's parent company are fleeing. And a Bloomberg article is getting slammed over being tone deaf. CJ Papa has these stories in today's Business Briefs.
Uber and Lyft drivers may be leaving the ride-sharing services over high gas prices. These drivers pay for their own gas. In a recent survey by Rideshare Guy found 15% had already quit driving, with 40% driving less. Despite recently adding a 55-cent per ride surcharge, drivers point out a ride could be 2 miles or 20 miles, making the surcharge meaningless. Uber and Lyft saying the number of drivers on their platforms is rising. Meta Platforms facing a worker exodus amid the stock price falling, a series of damaging leaks about its practices, in particular at Instagram, and pressure on its advertising business. Employees are reportedly posting messages saying they are feeling bad and want to leave, and others are saying they are already interviewing at other companies. The stock price has fallen from an all-time high of $380 in September to now just over $200 a share. Many tech companies offer a mix of pay and stock options to employees. And a new Bloomberg op-ed is giving some strange tips to cope with record inflation, telling Americans who make less than $300,000 a year, take the bus, don't buy in bulk, eat lentils instead of meat, even cut chemotherapy for your pet. Many taking to Twitter to slam the out-of-touch article. A state senator for Rhode Island writing, complaining about the price of gas? The elites say, let them eat lentils. For more stories, log on to foxbusiness.com in New York. I'm CJ Papa.
Facebook is locking out users who didn't activate their new update called Facebook Protect. It's intended for users who are likely to be a target of malicious internet activity, like journalists, government officials, and human rights activists. The company sent an email earlier in March requiring users to enable the update on their accounts. However, the email address seemed suspicious to many users, making them ignore the notification, and now they're being locked out of their accounts. In some cases, even those who did activate the feature are being prohibited access, according to reports. Nestle says it has significantly scaled back its activity in Russia and isn't making a profit in the country following its invasion of Ukraine. Nestle says it is supplying the population with important food, but that doesn't mean it simply continues as before. The company has also suspended investments and advertising in Russia. Last week, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called out Nestle, accusing it of using, quote, cheap PR to cover up its decision to stay in Russia despite the war. The surging prices in the housing market pose a threat to homeowners and people interested in buying a home. Despite the increase in prices throughout the pandemic, many first-time buyers were able to purchase their dream homes. However, the median price of a home is up 15% compared to last year. Mortgage rates have also risen above 4% for the first time in nearly 3 years. Analysts expect these changes to slow the market in 2022, and they foresee higher prices into next year. There is a shortage of Ukrainian flags in some parts of the U.S. as more and more Americans look for ways to support the war-torn country. In Colorado, one man hopes to ease that shortage by using old construction pallets to create lawn flags. Carly Moore has more on his efforts.
As somebody that values freedom and democracy, especially as a father of a 4-year-old, I really felt like I had to do something.
Horrified by the war in Ukraine, the McFarland family wanted to help.
We got talking about other things we could do, and I said, well, I'm going to go get myself a flag. I went down to the flag store and got a flag, and when I talking to the flag guy, he said he was out, had no more flags. And I thought, well, everybody needs a flag.
John figured he could make one.
He mentioned pallets, and that made sense because they're kind of everywhere. You can get them for free in most cases.
I'm the chief construction guy, and Jonathan's the chief marketing guy.
Now their effort is ramping up.
We've got a whole production line here. My driveway is a regular manufacturing plant.
They collect pallets, disassemble them, perfect the shape, then nail all the parts together and slap on a little paint.
You have to slow down for the paint to dry. That holds us up a little bit.
The McFarlands asking the community for donated pallets, paint, and a pickup truck to haul everything, while John does the handiwork.
Yeah, we got excited and started knocking out flags, and now I can't keep up.
They can make 6 signs for each pallet, and their suggested donation for the flags are $25. So that means one donated pallet can equal $150 for Ukraine.
We'll keep making them as long as this war is happening. So I would love for this to end tomorrow and not have to do this anymore, but that's probably not the case. So we're going to just keep this going as long as we can, as long as the Ukrainians need our help. We're going to do everything we can to help them.
This is Women's History Month, so it's only right we highlight some trailblazers. Laura Ingle has more on one woman's journey to make a difference.
Nikki Haley has become one of the most celebrated female politicians in American history, not only for her many accomplishments in government, but for serving as a role model to many on both sides of the aisle.
This is a time of getting things done.
Nikki Haley has been a trailblazer from the beginning.
I would be deeply honored to serve as your governor.
She was known for being a fearless U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, holding strong to America's stance on Russia like she did nearly 4 years ago.
The position of the United States will not waver. We condemn in the strongest terms Russia's involvement in eastern Ukraine and its purported annexation of Crimea,
while also challenging human rights abusers around the world and defending U.S. ally Israel.
For those that don't have our back, we're taking names.
Born in Bamberg, South Carolina, Nikki Randhawa Haley is the daughter of immigrant parents from India.
My mom would say your job is not to show them how you're different. Your job is to show them how you're similar.
In 2011, Haley broke barriers, becoming the first female governor of South Carolina and only the second Indian American to lead a state.
Raise your right hand.
6 years later, she became the first female cabinet member in the Trump administration.
The next president of the United States, Nikki Haley.
Nationally, she is one of the most prominent female Republicans, which begs the question, what's next?
Where is the future of the GOP? And are you on a ticket somewhere in the future?
If it looks like there's a place for me, I've never lost a race. I'm not going to start now.
Haley says if you're comfortable, you're not living life enough, and asks women to get out there because we need you. In New York, Laura Ingle, Fox News.
We want to leave you with a smile. A pay copy of the very first Marvel Comics book pays off very handsomely to its owner. The 1939 copy of Marvel Comics #1, featuring the Human Torch, the Angel, Khazar, Submariner, and Masked Raider, has sold for $2.4 million in an online auction. The buyer's name has not been revealed. It's considered a top 3 must-have comic collectible and launched Marvel's future of comics, TV shows, and movies. The comic is called Pay Copy because it has publisher's notes explaining how much writers and artists were paid. The Human Torch became a member of Marvel's Fantastic Four. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day.